Welcome back to the channel. This will be the first video where I will give some tips for Mythic Plus on how to increase your rating. These are all things that I usually do to make sure I can increase my rating to, well, at the moment it is I think 2731. Yeah, 2731. I think at the end of the season I will get over 3k by just following these tips. It won't get you into plus 25, 26s instantly, but it will gradually build up the keys that you do. At the start of the season, I started out with 10s. I'm currently on 17, 18, 19s. And 19s are not even too big of a problem at the moment. So I'm hoping to increase to 20s, 21s real soon. So for these tips, there will be a few videos about it, and in this video I wanted to talk about the affixes and what I do to increase the rating using the affixes that are present in that week. Now, before we jump into it, I will also would also like to note that I will be making a new character. I will probably make it in the week of June 1st, maybe the week after that. For that character, I am asking you guys to vote what class and spec to play, and I will stream every time that I play that character. I will determine the dates and times later for the stream. But for that character, you guys can decide everything I do. You can decide what I play, and I will eventually let some choices be up to you guys while we're playing. I will be leveling it, and yeah, feel free to join me on that journey. And I will leave a link to the poll down below. If you want, please fill it in. Tell me what you would like me to play. And let's get into the tips for Mythic Plus. So in this video I will talk about the affixes and how to play around it. Now, the first thing is to know the affixes and to know when they happen. For the affixes from Mythic Plus, you will have 4 at max, but you will start off with +2 for the first one. Then on +4 or higher you get the second one. +7 or higher will get you the third one as well. And if you do a +10 or higher, you will always have 4 affixes. Now, the first affix, the +2, is only one of 2. It's either Tyrannical or Fortified. Now, Tyrannical is the following. Bosses have 30% more health, and bosses and their minions inflict up to 15% increased damage. So this means the trash is usually pretty easy and will die quicker, and the bosses will have a bit more HP and deal a bit more damage. So for this instance, you could try to run more of a single target or a funnel build instead of full-on AoE, because the bosses will take a bit longer. And then the second one is Fortified, and Fortified is the following. Non-boss enemies have 20% more health and inflict 30% more damage. So this means that the trash count you need in the dungeon will be a bit harder, but the bosses will die a little bit quicker. So for this week you would probably run a more AoE focused build, and as they say down below here, avoid pulling excessive trash packs, as they do have more HP and more damage. The more you pull, it will become pretty hard really quick. And this is an important one. Use AoE CCs and stuns. This helps out a lot. Focus on priority targets also helps out a lot. Also try to kite a bit if you're a tank, so you get less hits. If you can kite really well, you can try to pull a bit bigger, but still make sure that you can pull it off even if you can't guide them, just to make sure you will make it in the end. So Fortified and Tyrannical every week will just swap back and forth. So one week it's Tyrannical, the next one it's Fortified. Now on live we have Fortified, so next week will be Tyrannical again, the one after that will be Fortified again. And that's how those work. Then when you get to a +4, you have a set of different things that you could face. First one is Inspiring. Some non-boss enemies have an inspiring presence that strengthens their allies. Now you can see which ones those are. They will have this little ring around it, just like you can see in the picture here. These will inspire the other creatures in 15 yards of them, and they will gain inspired. They will be immune to crowd control effects. Usually you want to see, well, you can't see them, but usually you want to get those killed first, because they will give CC immunity, which is pretty bad, and it can be pretty bad if they will give the immunity to the wrong targets that you normally want to stun or something. So in this week you might want to focus the inspiring one, and after that the rest of the pack shouldn't be a problem too much. If you're AoEing, you can still AoE, just make sure you focus the single target spells into that one target. Then the next one is Bolstering. When a non-boss enemy dies, its death cry empowers nearby allies. They will gain health and damage, and if you pull big packs, this can be a bit of a problem. What you normally want to do in a week where you have Bolstering is that you try to pull either smaller groups where it's a bit safer to kill them, or if you pull big groups, make sure you get them all low and then kill them quickly after each other, so they will not get the damage and HP buff to heal them a bit up, because it would be bad if you have like 10 targets, they're all at 5% HP, and then their HP gets increased by 15%, and then you kill the next one, it gets increased by 15% again. It would be really bad if you let this go off too often. Sometimes what has happened is that if you pull packs and you kill them too slow, that some of the trash becomes harder than the actual bosses in there, because their HP and damage will stack up by a lot, and then usually it's just quicker to die, run back, and kill it when it's not empowered. So this is one to take good care of. Watch out where it's going with this one. The next one is a fun one. It's Sanguine. A lot of people hate it. It's really fun if you can play around it pretty good, but it's a really bad one if you don't know what to do with it. So non-boss enemies will die a pool of ichor that heals allies and damages players. And it heals a lot. It heals for 5% of their health each second, and it deals damage to 15% of your health each second. So if you stand in it, you'll die quick. If enemies stand in it, they will heal up pretty quick. As a tank, you want to make sure you have enough space, and when something dies, pull the rest out of it, or you need to make sure that everything dies at practically the same time. You can play around with both of those a bit again. The safest way is just as a tank to kite it a bit to make sure you don't have enemies standing in the pools. Sometimes it means that you need to interrupt targets to get them out. And things like, for me, I play a shaman, don't use your earth elemental too much on trash, because if it dies, the earth elemental gets the aggro. And you stand they stand in the pool, they will heal up really quick, and it becomes bad really fast. Now then you have Raging. Non-boss enemies will rage at 30% health, increase their damage by 50%. Now this is, I don't think this one is too bad. You can soothe them with hunter pets. You can also a druid can soothe them. You can still stun them. You can still AoE stun them. So there's enough things around this one. This one isn't too hard, I think. It's only the last 30%. So they will probably die pretty quick. Then the next one we have is bursting. Now this is can be a pretty hard one. When you kill an enemy, they will explode, cause damage over 4 seconds to everyone in the group. Again, if you pull really big packs and you kill them quick after each other, this will really stack up the damage pretty hard. And this will actually kill you fast if you have too many stacks on it. So be aware of that one. And then the last one for a +4 is Spiteful. Spiteful will rise a small ghost shade from the corpse of non-boss enemies, and they will pursue random players. Now when they pursue you, they will lose HP. I think it's 8% or something. Yeah, they lose 8% of their health every second. So normally you don't even damage them, you don't even hit them once. You just, unless the rest of the pack is still alive, then you can AoE them down. That's not too bad. But if you play with Spiteful, just do not touch the ghosts too much. If it's not needed, just run to the next pack and they will probably die before the ghosts get there. You can slow them to make sure that they won't reach up to the group. That's a pretty good thing to do. You can slow them, AoE slow them. That always works pretty good. All in all, this one isn't too bad. Just make sure they don't hit you, because they do hit very hard. Then the next one we have is for the +7, and the first one will be Quaking. Periodically, all enemies emit a shockwave, inflicting damage and interrupting nearby allies. You will see it. Yeah, there's no video here, I think, no screenshot. You will see it when you get it. It's a large circle around you. You need to stop casting, or it will interrupt you. It's not too bad. It's not really that hard. Just make sure you don't stack up, because if you stack up, it will deal damage, and the damage can be pretty bad. As long as you don't stack up, it's not, yeah, not that interesting. Then we have Storming. Storming will summon whirlwinds when you're in combat. And they will go in circles. They will slowly go in circles around you and will knock you up into the air. As you can see right here, it is not too bad damage-wise, but if you get knocked up and come down, it will interrupt spell casting. It will interrupt you hitting the enemy. It will interrupt everything you do, which is pretty bad. This one is not too hard to avoid. Just keep watching out for the swirlies and make sure you dodge them. Then the next one we have is Grievous. Now Grievous means that injured players, so if you're not full HP, will get a debuff, which is actually just a dot, and it will stack every couple of seconds until you reach full health. I think it's until you reach over 90% HP. I'm not sure about that. It will just get a percentage of HP off until you die, and whenever you heal, you will lose stacks or completely get them off. For a healer, you probably want something to heal a group easily, instead of just single target healing for this affix. Then the next one is Explosive. Now Explosive will drop orbs that will detonate in a few seconds, so you have to kill them really quick, but they are immune to AoE spells completely, so you can't Blizzard, you can't Starfall, as a chamois, I can't use my crash lightning just to hit it. So you really need to target it. What you can do is make a macro for an instant spell. Make a mouse over macro, just target it with your mouse. Press the key that you bound to your macro, and then you will hit it instantly. For melee, it's pretty easy. You can just auto attack it once. It's not too hard to deal with, but make sure you kill them because they will deal a ton of damage. Then there is two more. The next one will be Volcanic. Now, Volcanic will periodically summon a flame to erupt beneath your feet. Yeah, it's not really that hard or that interesting. You will see it. It's pretty obvious where it will come. And just try to not stand in it when it happens. It will deal damage. It's 20% of your HP. Just dodge it. It's not too hard. You will see a large circle around you where it will pop up. And that's basically it. Just dodge it so you won't get damaged by it. And then we have Necrotic. This is an interesting one. Every time a enemy melee attacks hit someone, it will apply a debuff, Necrotic Wound, which will reduce the healing and absorption of shields by 2% per stack. So if you have 50 stacks, healing and shields won't do anything. So when this is active, you probably want a bit more caution with your pulls. You don't want to pull too much because every time you get hit, you will get the debuff. It lasts for 9 seconds and it will refresh every time a stack is applied. So it probably you won't lose stacks until you either are not hit for 9 seconds straight, or if the enemy is dead and you can wait until you pull the next pack. With Necrotic, just make sure you go slow. Or well, not go too slow, but you want to slow things down. You don't want to pull 3, 4, 5 packs at the same time. You usually just want to go with 1 or 2. If you know the mobs are dead pretty quick, you can maybe pull off 3, but I wouldn't suggest doing more than those. So that's it for Necrotic. Just keep watching the stacks, and the best thing to do here is if you have something that can slow in the group, use the AoE slows, and then as a tank, kite it, so you won't get hit. And then the last one is for plus 10 only, plus 10 and higher that is, and that is Encrypted. With Encrypted, some of the packs and the bosses will have relics. There are 3. There is a Woe relic, a Vi relic, and a relic. The Vi relic will give you a 45 seconds buff that will give you increased haste. So this is basically it's a smaller version of Bloodlust or Heroism. Can be good in some situations. In the most situations you would like to go for the relic, which is a 10-second buff, which will increase your cooldown reduction rate by a lot. I think it's about 70 to 80%. So spells that I have a cooldown of, I had my, I have my Fire Nova on 11 seconds. That was reduced to 2 point something seconds. So you can, you can't spam it really fast, but you can use a lot in that small window. So most of the times you will take the relic to get the AoE damage up, to make sure that you kill packs really quick. On bosses it can be useful too. On bosses sometimes the Vi relic works better depending on the week, if it's Fortified or Tyrannical. On Tyrannical, when the bosses have more health, it's sometimes better to take the Vi relic. And then the last one is the Woe relic. The Woe relic will shield you and make you invisible after combat for I think it's 1.5 minutes, something like that. And it will reduce the damage taken. It will increase the, what was the other thing? I don't remember exactly what it is. Normally you only take the woe relic just for the invisibility that you get from it, to skip certain packs or skip things, and that's basically all you use it for. Most of the times you will go for the relic, sometimes the Vi, and if you want to skip, use the woe relic. Now that's how it works. Now for this week, we have Fortified, so non-boss enemies have more HP and deal more damage. So for this week I would want something more focused on AoE. We have Spiteful, so I move out of range of the shades in order to let them just walk to me and die before they get to me. We have Necrotic, so melee hits will apply a stacking debuff that will make healing a bit harder. And all in all, the combination of this will make it that we won't pull groups. We won't pull 2, 3, 4 groups together, but probably just go with 1, maybe 2, because they have more HP, more damage, they leave a debuff, and they leave shades when they die. So there's a lot that can go wrong in this week, but if you just play it safe, take it easy on the pulls, you will probably make it. That was it for the affixes. In the next videos to come, I want to talk about the dungeons, the covenants, what the covenants give you, what you can do optimizing your class for the dungeons and stuff. But that's all for another video. I will try to release a video about this every Saturday, so stay tuned, hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any videos. And if you have any questions or you just want to tell me something, leave it down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.